Hollywood, the land of glitz, glamour, and now, total chaos. Once the beating heart of entertainment, the industry is crumbling under its own weight. Studios are collapsing, streaming empires are hemorrhaging money, and the stars who once ruled the screen are now trapped in a whirlwind of scandals, corporate battles, and public betrayals. But among all the behind-the-scenes mayhem, one feud stands out: the explosive clash between Robert De Niro and Warner Brothers. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, Bill Maher threw himself into the fire, calling out De Niro and escalating the tension to an all-time high.
So why is Trump winning? I mean, the New York Times poll this week came out, and maybe this will change it with the State of the Union address, but Trump was beating him rather soundly. It was quite a warning light, 48-43, also winning way more among women than he had before, winning outright Latinos. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I just don't want to feel the way I did, and many of us don't, after the election in 2016, where we couldn't believe that it happened. The guy is a total monster, and anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor, because I can't see any good in him. Nothing.
If you're just tuning in, buckle up, because this Hollywood fallout is nothing short of explosive. Robert De Niro, a living legend with unforgettable performances in The Godfather Part 2, Raging Bull, and Goodfellas, was set to pocket a staggering $40 million for two major Warner Brothers films. Both projects were tailor-made for him, bringing him back to his iconic mob boss roots. But in a stunning turn of events, Warner Brothers abruptly dropped him, launching a high-stakes battle that's now playing out in court. What seemed like a routine casting decision quickly spiraled into a full-blown controversy. Warner Brothers had banked on De Niro's commanding screen presence to drive these films to success. His massive payout reflected his status as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. But just as the projects were gaining momentum, everything came crashing down. The studio shocked the industry by cutting all ties with De Niro, leaving him sidelined and furious. Then the real bombshell dropped. De Niro claimed he wasn't let go over contracts or creative differences. He was fired for his political views. According to him, Warner Brothers bowed to outside pressure from powerful figures who wanted him silenced. It's no secret that De Niro has never held back when it comes to his political beliefs. His fiery opinions have earned him both admiration and intense criticism. But now, he insists that speaking his mind has cost him two blockbuster roles. Warner Brothers, however, tells a very different story, one that raises even bigger questions. Insiders at the studio deny this was about politics alone. Instead, they claim De Niro crossed a line, making incendiary comments that stirred massive public backlash. To protect their brand, they made the call to drop him before the controversy got even worse. So who's telling the truth? Was De Niro blacklisted for his politics? Or did Warner Brothers make a tough business decision to avoid a PR disaster? One thing's for sure, this fight is far from over. Robert De Niro has never been one to hold his tongue. For decades, his outspoken views on politics and society have made him a lightning rod for both praise and controversy. But now, the legendary actor is facing a battle unlike anything he's seen before, one that threatens not just his career, but his entire legacy. He insists that speaking his mind has cost him two massive roles, but Warner Brothers is telling a very different and far more explosive story. Insiders at the studio claim this wasn't about De Niro's politics, but how he expressed them. According to sources, the actor's recent string of inflammatory remarks ignited public backlash, putting Warner Brothers in an impossible position. The fallout reportedly reached the highest levels of the company, with CEO David Zaslav personally stepping in to address the crisis. The message was clear. De Niro had become a liability, and drastic action was needed. But there was another factor at play: money. De Niro allegedly demanded a staggering $60 million payday for the two films, along with higher residuals at a time when Warner Brothers was already struggling with budget constraints. With financial tensions mounting and the controversy surrounding De Niro intensifying, the studio made the shocking decision to cut ties completely. What should have been a routine casting adjustment quickly spiraled into an all-out war. De Niro, refusing to fade quietly into the background, is now gearing up for a high-stakes legal battle. He's suing Warner Brothers and CEO David Zaslav, claiming that his firing was a politically motivated takedown orchestrated by powerful forces who wanted him silenced. The lawsuit alleges that the studio caved to pressure from outside groups, deliberately derailing his career and robbing him of the $40 million he was set to earn. But here's where things get even more complicated. Many legal experts aren't convinced he has a strong case. Some believe the lawsuit is more about controlling the public narrative than actually winning in court. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers isn't backing down, firmly stating that their decision was about professionalism, not politics. According to them, De Niro's actions created unnecessary risks, and they acted in the best interest of the company. And if a courtroom battle wasn't enough, De Niro is taking his fight to the court of public opinion. He's launching a full-scale media blitz, lining up appearances on talk shows, podcasts, and radio programs, including The Howard Stern Show, where he's expected to unleash fiery rants and impassioned defenses of his position. His mission? To convince the world that Hollywood is silencing him and that this isn't just about him, but about free speech in the industry. While De Niro wages his war, Warner Brothers is left scrambling to contain the fallout. The two mob boss films he was set to star in are now on the verge of collapse. One is facing deep budget cuts, while the other might not happen at all. Finding a replacement for a screen icon like De Niro is proving to be a nightmare, and the studio is under intense pressure to salvage its investment. But De Niro isn't just fighting a studio, he's battling a shifting Hollywood landscape. The entertainment industry is undergoing a massive transformation where streaming platforms, public scrutiny, and corporate risk management have made even A-list actors vulnerable. In a world where controversy can tank a project overnight, even legends like De Niro are finding themselves walking a razor's edge. Behind the scenes, the industry is taking notes. If Warner Brothers succeeds in sidelining one of the most respected actors of his generation, it could set a dangerous precedent for how studios handle outspoken stars in the future. On the other hand, if De Niro manages to turn public opinion in his favor, it could shake up Hollywood's power structure in ways we haven't seen before. One thing is certain, this battle is just getting started. With egos, reputations, and millions of dollars at stake, the next chapter promises to be even more chaotic, unpredictable, and headline-grabbing than anything Hollywood could script. The question is, who will come out on top? Step into Hollywood, where the drama spills off the screen and into the real world. The glossy image of the entertainment industry is starting to crack, revealing a whole new layer of chaos. Once the epicenter of creativity and endless entertainment, it now feels stuck in a constant whirlwind of trouble. With studios collapsing, streaming platforms hemorrhaging money, and creators caught in the middle, things have never been more turbulent. But no story stands out quite like the explosive showdown between Robert De Niro and Warner Brothers. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Bill Maher enters the fray, publicly calling out De Niro and stoking the flames of their already heated feud.
So why is Trump winning? I mean, the New York Times poll this week came out, and maybe this will change it with the State of the Union address, but Trump was beating him rather soundly. It was quite a warning light, 48 to 43, also winning way more among women than he had before, winning outright Latinos. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I just don't want to feel the way I did, and many of us don't, after the election in 2016, where we couldn't believe that it happened. The guy is a total monster. And anybody, I don't understand it. I guess they get behind that kind of logic. They want to fuck with people, screw them, because they're unhappy about something. He's such a mean, nasty, hateful person. I never play him as an actor because I can't see any good in him. Nothing.
For those just tuning in, Robert De Niro, the iconic actor behind unforgettable roles in classics like The Godfather Part 2, Raging Bull, and Goodfellas, has recently been dropped from 2 major Warner Brothers projects. These films were set to showcase De Niro in his legendary mob boss role, something he's mastered over decades. Together, the projects were worth a staggering $40 million. But instead of bringing those characters to life, De Niro is now locked in a legal battle, accusing Warner Brothers of firing him unfairly due to his political views. At first, this looked like a typical Hollywood situation. Warner Brothers had cast De Niro for 2 roles tailor-made for his intense, commanding screen presence. With both films expected to draw large audiences, the studio was counting on De Niro's star power to deliver. His $40 million payday was a testament to his status as one of Hollywood's top-paid actors. But as with many Hollywood dramas, things took an unexpected turn. Out of nowhere, Warner Brothers announced they were cutting ties with De Niro, scrapping him from both films. For an actor of his caliber, this was a major shakeup. Naturally, rumors began to fly. Was it a contract dispute? Creative differences? The truth was far messier. De Niro quickly fired back, claiming he was axed for political reasons, accusing Warner Brothers of bowing to pressure from public figures and groups who opposed his outspoken views. De Niro has always been known for speaking his mind, and his bold political and social opinions have sparked both praise and controversy. Now, he's arguing that his willingness to voice his thoughts has cost him big roles. But Warner Brothers has a much different and far more contentious take on the situation. Insiders from the studio argue that De Niro's firing wasn't about his political stance, but how he expressed it. Sources say his controversial comments angered a large portion of the public, forcing Warner Brothers to make the tough decision to part ways with the actor to protect their brand. Robert De Niro is notorious for never holding back, and his bold views on political and social issues have sparked both admiration and controversy throughout his career. Now, he's claiming that speaking his mind has cost him major roles, but Warner Brothers is offering an even juicier explanation. Studio insiders say the decision to part ways with De Niro wasn't about his politics, but rather the way he voiced them. Allegedly, the actor made a series of inflammatory remarks that ruffled a lot of feathers and offended large swaths of the public. This reportedly triggered Warner Brothers executives, including CEO David Zaslav, to step in and take decisive action. Things didn't stop there. De Niro's financial demands only added fuel to the fire. Sources say he requested a whopping $60 million for the 2 films, plus higher residuals, all while the studio was already facing budget concerns. As tensions built, Warner Brothers made the call to sever ties, a move that quickly sparked a public frenzy. Refusing to go down without a fight, De Niro is now gearing up for a legal battle that could rival anything he's faced on screen. He's suing Warner Brothers and CEO David Zaslav, claiming they fired him for political reasons. In his lawsuit, De Niro accuses the studio of buckling under pressure from groups opposing his views and intentionally sabotaging his career by cutting him from the projects. He's demanding $40 million in damages, the same amount he was set to earn. Despite his claims, many legal experts and industry insiders think his case is shaky, suggesting it's more about saving face than securing a legal win. On the other hand, Warner Brothers is standing firm, insisting their decision was based on De Niro's controversial behavior and the professional risks it posed, not his political opinions. If the legal drama wasn't enough, De Niro is launching a full-blown PR campaign. He's lined up appearances on podcasts, radio shows, and talk shows, including The Howard Stern Show, to tell his side of the story. His mission? To cast himself as a victim of corporate censorship in an industry that he argues no longer tolerates differing opinions. Expect fiery speeches, pointed critiques, and emotional pleas as De Niro takes his fight into the public eye. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers is left dealing with the fallout. The 2 films De Niro was supposed to star in are now in serious jeopardy. One is facing massive budget cuts, and the other may be canceled entirely. Replacing an acting legend like De Niro is no easy task, and the studio is scrambling to save their investment. To add fuel to the fire, De Niro's former co-stars have been told by their agents and managers to steer clear of him, a classic Hollywood move when someone's reputation is in jeopardy. This isolation has only deepened De Niro's sense of betrayal and frustration. But De Niro's clash with Warner Brothers isn't just a personal spat. It's a reflection of the bigger issues shaking up Hollywood right now. The entertainment industry is in the midst of a massive upheaval, with streaming services upending traditional business models, public opinion gaining more power than ever, and studios walking a tightrope of potential controversy. Even A-listers like De Niro aren't immune to the fallout from their actions. For Warner Brothers, cutting ties with De Niro may have been a strategic move to protect against professional risks, but this decision also exposes the tricky balancing act studios face when trying to manage creative freedom, public perception, and financial pressures. Even competitors like Disney are feeling the heat, showing just how high the stakes are in the battle for dominance in the entertainment world. As for De Niro, his place in Hollywood is now up in the air. The legal showdown with Warner Brothers could drag on for months, possibly even years, and the damage to his public image may take even longer to repair. But if there's one thing De Niro is known for, it's his resilience. Whether he's playing a mob boss or taking on $1 billion studio, he's never been one to back down from a fight. One thing's for sure, this saga is far from over. The next chapter promises to be just as dramatic, messy, and captivating as the ones before it.